Good morning, class 12th business study period, and we are going with the topic financial management. In that, we are discussing the financial decision which are to be taken by the financial management. These decisions are number one, investing decision, or that is capital budgeting decision. Number two, we are doing today financing decision. What is the meaning of financing decision? Financing decision means to invest the money into into the company. बिजनेस के अंदर पैसा इन्वेस्ट करना. And in order to invest the money into the business, we have to raise money from market. There can be two types of fund. One is owned fund, another is borrowed fund. Owned fund means our own money which is raised with the help of shares or our retained earning, and the borrowed money which is refers to the debentures and long term loan. So this is very important decision from company point of view कि from which source company is going to raise its finance from the market. While taking this decision, financial manager compares the advantage and disadvantage of different sources. कि if we raise from owner fund, what would be the advantages, and if we raise fund from borrowed fund, what would be the advantage or disadvantage, or what kind of risk a company is going to face in the future. And this decision will help to design our capital structure. So what factors we have to taken into account while taking this financing decision? The number one is cost. What is the meaning of cost? The cost means the cost of raising finance. अगर हम किसी भी सोर्स से फाइनेंस उठाते हैं, वेदर इट इज ऑन फंड और बोरोड फंड, तो उस ऑन फंड या बोरोड फंड को रेज करने के लिए हमें कितना कॉस्ट आकर करना पड़ेगा. That will help in deciding whether we should go for owner fund and we should go for borrowed fund. Number two, the risk factor, where the risk is involved more. As we know, borrowed fund involves more risk, because in borrowed fund, principal amount as well as interest on that loan amount is compulsory to pay, whether company is having profit or loss. That's why a finance manager will be comparing the risk before raising the finance either from owner fund or borrowed fund. The third is cash flow position. What is the inflow of cash in the business? What is the liquidity position of the business? Because if we are raising fund through borrowed fund, our liquidity should be good. Why it is so? Because timely we have to pay interest on long term loan as well as installment we have to pay every year. That's why we have to see our cash flow position. If we are facing the position a problem of shortage of cash, then we should not go for borrowed fund, we can go for owner's fund. The next and important factor in deciding whether to be raised fund from owner or borrowed fund is control consideration. What the existing shareholder wants, whether they want that the entire control of the company should be in their hands, then they will not raise more fund with the help of shares, they will prefer borrowed fund. But if company is of not such a narrow mind, then they may issue more and more shares in the market. That is known as control consideration. Flotation cost. What does it mean? It means the cost involved in issue of securities such as brokerage commission, underwriter fees, expenses on prospectus, etc. The amount which is spent on issue of shares or issue of debenture in the market is known as flotation cost. Then where we are going to occur more cost also helps in taking the decision which source we must be choose. Next is fixed operating cost. What is the meaning of operating cost? What company's operating cost is, how much cost company is always paying to the paying in the business. बिजनेस में पहले से ही उसकी ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट क्या है. इफ ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट ऑफ बिजनेस इज ऑलरेडी हाई, then company should not go for borrowed fund. Why? Because if companies go for borrowed fund, then this fixed operating cost will increase, and it will affect our company adversely. That's why company has to see what the company's operating cost already there, that it will help in deciding on owner's fund or borrowed fund. The next is state of capital market. What is the market situation? The condition in the capital market also helps in deciding the type of securities to be raised. If it is boom period is going, then we can raise more and more fund by issuing securities, because in boom period people prefer to purchase more and more shares. Or if market is already under recession or depression, then there is no use of issuing more and more share, because at that time people don't want to invest their money in shares. So this was our second decision in financial decision, that is financing decision, how to raise finance from the market. And third and important decision is dividend decision. As you know, dividend is paid to the shareholder. Dividend is a kind of residual income which is left after paying to the creditors, paying to the debenture holders, and each and every kind of expense. Whatever money left after paying income tax, the remaining amount can be utilized in number one, either to transfer to the money into reserves, that is retained earning, or to distribute the remaining money among the shareholders in form of dividend. Now the company has to decide whether to declare more and more dividend, or whether to declare an appropriate amount of dividend for the shareholder. What factors we have to taken into account while taking this decision? The first is earning. What is the earning capacity of the company? Normally a company can pay its dividend either from current year profit or from previous year's profit. If company is having sufficient profit in current year as well as in previous years, then company can declare more and more dividend. So that is the first point, earning capacity of the company. Next, stability of the earning. If the company's income is stable, if company's income is stable every year, we always in hope that our profit will always be increasing or it will remain stable, then we can adopt a fixed rate of dividend policy or high rate of dividend policy. But the problem comes where the profitability is unstable. Sometime it is more, sometime it is less, then it is difficult to declare dividend at a high rate. Next is cash flow position. What is the cash flow position of the company? Paying dividend, it means we have to pay cash. It means there will be outflow of cash in the business. Companies declaring high dividend only when they have surplus cash. अगर कंपनी की लिक्विडिटी अच्छी है, कंपनी की कैश पोजीशन अच्छी है, देयर इज नो शॉर्टेज ऑफ कैश, देन ओनली कंपनी इज गोइंग टू डिक्लेयर मोर एंड मोर डिविडेंड, अदरवाइज इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम. Next factor affecting is growth opportunity. Does company has any growth opportunity? What does it mean? It means, is there any scope to enlarge the business or to start a new line of business in the same existing business? If company has such growth opportunities, then company is going to declare less and less dividend. In that case, company will, instead of declaring the dividend, will transfer the profit into retained earning, plowing back of profit, and this retained earning will be a good source of business finance for the growth opportunities. Next and important factor affecting this dividend decision is stability of dividend. Those companies whose keeps normally the stable dividend every year, more or less dividend rate remains same, then in that case the company's reputation, the company's goodwill increases in the share market, and in such situation share price keeps on increasing, which is giving directly effect to the shareholder. That's why company must think, if possible they must pay regular dividend and they must pay stable dividend. The increase in dividend is made only when there is a confidence to the company that the earning potential is going to up. That is stable dividend. If company is following such policy, it is going to give a positive result to the company. Another important factor is preference of shareholder. What the shareholder wants, what the existing shareholder want, what is their nature. If shareholder are of retired pension people, if they are old age people, if they are less taking adventure people, then they would like to get dividend regularly. In that case, company must declare the dividend, then only company would be able to earn its goodwill in the market. But if shareholders are of young people, they believe that let the market price of shares increases. In that case, company should declare less and less dividend, and company must reinvest their dividend in form of retained earning in the business only. So that young shareholders preference is this. So dividend to be declared more or less depends upon the preference of shareholders. Next is, what is the taxation policy of the government? The rate of dividend also depend upon the tax of policy designed by the government. Normally, under the present taxation system, the dividend income to the shareholder is tax free. But when company is giving dividend, on that dividend, a company has to pay tax to the government. In this case, if tax rate is higher, then company will pay less dividend and vice versa. Next is access to the capital market consideration. What does it mean? It means by declaring more or less dividend, what is going to affect, how it is going to affect our capital market. If capital market can be easily assessed or approached, and there is enough demand of our securities, then company will pay more and more dividend. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ डियर्स? अगर कंपनी के ज़्यादा डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर करने से उसका डायरेक्ट इफेक्ट शेयर मार्केट पर पड़ता है, कैपिटल मार्केट पर पड़ता है, और कैपिटल मार्केट में हमारी सिक्योरिटीज की डिमांड अच्छी है, तो इसका एक पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट मिलेगा. इन दैट केस कंपनी मस्ट डिक्लेयर मोर एंड मोर डिविडेंड. लीगल restrictions. According to Company Act 2013, there are certain provisions or restrictions which a company has to follow before declaring dividend. And not only the Companies Act, there are some internal provisions also which are mentioned in the Article of Association, where the company has to decide whether to pay more dividend or to pay less dividend without affecting the liquidity. So such legal restrictions are also going to affect our dividend decision. Next is contractual constraints. What is the meaning of contractual constraint? These are constraints which are put up by the lenders who are giving loan to us. Many times when we wants to take a loan from any of the company, those companies who are giving loan to us, they put some restriction on dividend, and in that case we have to follow their instruction or constraints whatever put up by them. And the stock market reaction. The declaration of dividend has impact on stock market, as increase in dividend is taken a good news in the stock market and price of the security rises, whereas the decrease in dividend may have negative impact on the share price in the stock market. So possible impact of dividend policy in the equity share also affect the dividend decision. अगर stock market positive response देता है तो हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा dividend declare करना चाहिए. तो these were 3 important decision under financial decision. Number 1, investing decision. Number 2, that is financing decision, and third is dividend decision. Thank you very much.